Hello and welcome, I am Arumba, thank you for joining me. This is the first episode in a new campaign called Granadan, Grandeur. We're going to play MEIOU and Taxes 2.0, which was just recently released and is available for Mandate of Heaven patch 1.21. MEIOU and Taxes 2.0 changes almost everything about EU4, from population to estates to disease to trade. All kinds of stuff is different, so let's dive in and give it a go. I've played this quite a bit in the pre-release state. I want to see how much more polished it is now that we're in 1.21, and also just see how well the game plays. This is a major overhaul mod that a lot of people really enjoy, so I'm hoping that you'll enjoy it too. Now, you'll notice that the game looks a little bit different. Okay, a couple things. Number one, it's different because of MEIOU and Taxes. Number two, it's different because I still prefer the Century Gothic font. So I updated a version of the Stellaris font mod to my liking to work with this thing. So I just find that it's much easier to read everything, and I also find that it is easier to see whether or not things are red or green, and it just, I think, overall makes a better viewing experience for YouTube. So where do we begin? Well, we are Granada. We need to basically let a year or so of time pass right now to let the game do its job and assign estates. So you'll notice that there's a button here where we can assign estate a la normal, but that will just get overwritten because the game is going to decide for us what estate is where, and no matter what, every single province we own will always have an estate. Even our capital will end up having an estate. So certain things, like on the macro builder, the estate tab is removed. You can no longer assign estates that way. Population has replaced the development map mode. You can see how much population you have. So for example, we have our capital city, Granada, has 17 total population. So let's go take a look at Granada and see what we've got. We've got 3 rural population. Rural population represents the peasants or free farmers of your province. We've got 12 urban population. And then we've got 2 upper class, hoity-toity type peoples. Each population unit represents 10,000 people. The total population of this province gives the following effects. So no longer is it just a click to develop your country type button, but population is dynamic. It can get murdered by conquest. It can get murdered by plagues. It can grow over time as you build infrastructure. And there are no building limits, and infrastructure is much, much different. And from my recent experience, gold is incredibly valuable. Every decision you make with regard to gold is going to make a big, big difference. So we've got 2 merchants that are unassigned. Let's go ahead and probably, I would assume, assign one into our capital node. And let's see what leads into this node. We've got the Portugal node, apparently. Where is the Portugal node? This is the Portugal node. Apparently can actually go in this direction down into the Andalusia node. Okay, and then the other ones, we've got our Catalonia. Is that over here, I assume? Yeah, Catalonia can also lead in this direction. Interesting. Neither of them are inland seas. I guess we could check the ledger real quick just to see which nation or which trade node has the most in it. Trade nodes, total. So we're looking for the difference between Portugal node and Catalonia. I suppose we could do by name, just compare them that way. I don't trust the interface from the... You know what? Let's do it from here. Maybe it'll work from here. This thing has been notoriously inaccurate in the past, so hence my reluctance. Let's just count the 1.01 to just be accurate for now. Transfer trade there. I did notice when I was trying out the mod in the beta that, technically it still is in beta, that there is no collect trade malice for having an extra merchant collecting trade, so we might be better off just collecting trade in every node that we can. I'm not really sure. We have a national decision available. We need to create an army for our nation. That would require us to be at 75% of our force limit, which is 7, so that's going to be unlikely, I think. We could protect our brethren in Cadiz, save the Andalusian people in Cadiz. So we have course. Apparently, in the year 1356, Granada has legal claim to Cadiz and the province of Sabta. So, okay. All right, with that in mind, let's try to get our country in order. We're going to go down to about like half maintenance or so for now. We've got 2 forts apparently, one in Granada, one in Marbala. We are paying for the state of Upper Andalusia. We're making 2.6 ducats a month, but that's probably not going to stay the same. So let's go ahead and speed the game up a little bit. We'll go ahead and use the the thing here for now to improve relations with, I suppose, whoever we think we can actually get an alliance with. Alright, so... Currently no one wants to offer an alliance. The court event has not fired. Not sure what that means, but Tlemcen is potentially willing to be an ally, so let's just go ahead and improve. This guy's hostile. That's not cool. Let's just start off by improving here and here. And then I guess we gotta wait a little bit for some events to fire. MEIOU and Taxes 2.0, welcome! Yes. Wala Galiba Ila Allah Lala. Okay, cool. There is no victor but God. So, tell me more about this magnificent rework. Onto the game with additional tags, onto the game without additional tags. Additional tags, okay. Alright, sure, additional tags. What does that mean? Sure, Bohemia has announced Austria as their rival. People are apparently already at war and full annexed. Wow, that was quick. Herald from Albania. Karl I of Topia has seized the throne of Albania. So there are tons and tons and tons of countries in the game. So many tags all over the place. Wow, we can see really far away. Being Granada is awesome. We can see everything in India, South Asia, Southeast Asia. Look at this Ethiopian region, Ajuran, Marahan. We've got the Mamluk. Ottoman is very weak or very small, but he's got claims on everything in the year 1357, likely to expand very quickly. The White Horde, the Blue Horde. And then we're this little tiny guy down here right now. So, Castilian noble rebels are apparently occupying the provinces in Castile. He's at war. He's currently fighting in the War of the Two Peters. At war with Aragon, Sicily, and Trastamara. So hopefully our neighbors will continue to fight, but not so much that they weaken us. Every nation that I've seen starts off with one idea group unlocked and apparently 2 ideas to begin with. We've got trade, so trade range and merchants, that's cool. It's a diplomatic idea. Ideas are much less expensive because there's many, many, many more of them. Our Granadan traditions give us national tax modifier and religious unity. When we get all of our idea groups out, we get idea cost reduction, tolerance of heathens, corporation cost, tech cost, more trade power, construction cost comes down a little bit. That's kind of going to be weak, I think, just because of the way that construction costs are calculated. But that's alright. So trade ideas is fine. It's good. We'll stay focused on dip. We're not going to hire any advisors just yet because I want to see what our financials look like after we get our estates assigned. We can rival Portugal or Trastamara. Let's see. Trastamara is this guy up here, and he is currently the one. I think he's part of the War of Two Peters. Let's go ahead and rival him now with the expectation that he's going to stop existing soon. Potentially allowing us to get some power projection here kind of early on. And I'm willing to rival Portugal. I don't really see any major horrible risk in doing so. Okay, national decisions are available. We have plenty of them. What do we have? We have a special map mode that we can use to view all kinds of data about the game. Let's go ahead and hide our utility decisions for now. Donate state lands to the church. We can gain legitimacy and prestige at the expense of 5 ducats. We can gain church influence and piety. So let's talk about church influence. We got this thing called a slider. Church influence is very similar to the Orthodox system of patriarch authority. The higher your church influence gets, the more stuff you get from it. The actual effects are not listed that I can see. Begins at a base of 20. We could read through here all the way and see exactly what we get. Piety works the same way. Fanaticism, the more pious we become, we get morale of armies up to a maximum of 15%. And the more secular we get discounts to tech and ideas. No, just tech. Apparently no idea cost reduction in there. And then if we hover over current piety, we can see that we have no modifier right now. So we just started the game. Of course, there's nothing to do. We gotta wait. We gotta wait for our states to become assigned. Playing with New World Plagues. Sure. Sounds great. And then we gotta decide what we want to do about some of these. Seek legitimacy from the Caliph. Make a pilgrimage to Mecca. Gain piety at the expense of ducats. Our ruler is on a pilgrimage to Mecca for, it's like 7-8 months. Morale of armies goes down. We gain 5 yearly prestige for those 7 or 8 months, so a little bit. And then we lose a relationship slot. Interesting. Well, we're at 0 out of 3 right now. Bohemia has entered into a military alliance. Portugal has allied Castile. Shocking! Arumba has inherited Albania. Like some centralization is going on over there. Okay, the game's gonna lag, I think, for a moment here, because these first few months is where every province in the game is kind of getting sequentially assigned estates. But after that, the game runs pretty well. There we go. Come on, you can do it, game. You can do it. Ottomans have declared war on something. They cite Sultanate of Rum as their CB. I'm not familiar with that CB. Claim our rival's province of Murcia. Alright, well, let's just make sure that we know which one we're talking about here. You want me to claim Castamara's province of Murcia. I believe fabricated claims are rather expensive. 40. If we were to spy on you, how fast could we even earn it? Can't tell without a diplomat free. Alright, why don't you come back from Fez for a second? Let's see what this would do. 1.84 each month. It's possible we could do this before the War of Two Peters is done. Let's go ahead and we'll go for it. What do we get? Military power. Protect against Trastamara. We need to have 7 regiments. I'm gonna go for the military points. One thing I do remember from trying the game out is that the value of monarch points is severely reduced in this overhaul mod. Fez wants to become friends. Oh, well, that's good. He was hostile and now he's friendly. Probably because we have the same rivals, Aragon, Trastamara. I think we do want to pick up this alliance right away. We need some help here. Now, have you rivaled Tlemcen? You have not. Tlemcen is allied to Hafsid. So you've rivaled who now? Hafsid, Aragon, Trastamara. And you have rivaled nobody with no possible rivals. So Tlemcen could actually be another ally for us, if we could just get them willing to accept. Apparently playing on very hard difficulty. Oops. It was not my intent. I'll probably reload the save after that. The game is not balanced. We actually ran into this when I was streaming the game beforehand. It's not balanced around very hard AI. It's a bad idea to do so. So I'll definitely change that soon, between episodes, I think. The Sunni faith. Religion is of secondary importance to the state, critical news only, or appoint a counselor to guide us, important news. Study all religions, great and small, or pay lip service to the church, no news events. Let's do important news. And Tlemcen has announced Fez as their rival. Damn. Aragon has told us of a glorious nation. They have formed a personal union with the nation of Navarre. Alright, it's a tiny little one. So this guy did end up rivaling our ally, which means we're probably not going to be able to pick up an ally there anyway. It's a shame. Probably could have gotten it last month if I hadn't had a very hard AI on. Derp. Alright, there we go. We got some estates. The burghers, the greater nobles, the lesser nobles, they all exist. And if we look through, we can see the lesser nobles have... I think you can actually see it from here as well. Maybe not. Nope. Okay. So of our provinces, this one is owned by the lesser nobles. Lesser, the burghers, the lesser, and the greater. And depending on the population and other stuff that's going on in the provinces, they will potentially dynamically change over time. And these allow us to interact with them to do stuff. So, visiting the burghers. The burgher estate represents city dwellers and their interests. While they do not command many soldiers or own vast tracts of lands, they tend to aggregate at the crossroads of wealth. They have a treasury of 130 ducats. So the way the game works now is, let's say that an estate owns... They are representative in a province. Say my capital. I have 12% autonomy in my capital. I'm never going to be able to get down to 0%. What this means is that 12% of the revenue and resources generated by this province are going to go to the burghers. And they're going to use that money to build up a treasury. This shows their annual income from their provinces. And then it's going to basically allow me to interact with them while they do stuff. Same thing with the other states, the greater nobles as well. They have a treasury of 24 ducats. They have no armies yet. They have 423% among landed estates power. Not sure what that means, but okay. These are the privileges that they have so far. We'll talk about those more as we play, but basically they have earned privileges, which means that I have penalties, and these penalties cause corruption, and that's not exactly good, but it's also just kind of the way things are. You can't really force them to not do it. So eventually we'll be able to interact with these guys a little bit more. But for now, we have a pretty good idea of how things are going. The only estate we don't have yet is the state, which we need to wait for. The state is us. It's our way of interacting directly with our country. We have an effect called plentiful manpower that has affected us. Our recovery rate has gone down, but morale of armies goes up and production efficiency goes up. Nice. We can be grandiose. Granada. Something that's really cool is the ability to interact with provinces. You can see all kinds of stuff about your provinces. Examine province detail. We can see population data. The rural population is 30,010. Urban population, 120,100. And every single year, this grows based on math. And you have to hit breakpoints, so we won't see our rural population go up to 4 until we hit 40,000 rural population. Things like rural saturation, urban gravity all affect how things work. However, this button, to see more information about what this data means, doesn't do anything. So, you just gotta figure it out as you go. Hey, it's a beta, what do you want to know? It looks like we can probably afford a diplomat or two. We have the ability to hire some guys that are a little bit different from vanilla. We could do a 0.68 ducat per month trade efficiency guy. I think he sounds pretty good. We want to focus on Diplo points since we are doing a diplomatic idea group right now. Tech is not as powerful. You'll see that there's many, many more levels to tech. We can go up to... Right there, you can see combat width goes all the way up to level 54. Tactics goes up to 59. So it looks like there's about 60 or so levels of technology. So you're not going to see these huge breakpoints in tech where you get like 0.5 tactics and 1 morale and just you know, slaughter your neighbors. But, yeah. Land maintenance modifier minus 10%? I think we'll save some of that money for now. I don't think we have any provinces that are the wrong religion, so we don't need that Inquisitor. Yearly inflation reduction, reduced inflation costs, taxes, and production efficiency guy. That sounds pretty sweet. How much is our inflation going up by? 0.05 per year? Just cuz, apparently. Let's go for the national tax modifier guy. Okay. Fez has announced Portugal as their rival, and Fez wants to be royally married. We will agree. Units are significantly more expensive in M&T 2.0. A single infantry is 28 ducats to hire. Maintenance cost is 0.25 ducats a month at our, I believe, total. Alright, do we have our state yet? No, we don't. Again, you gotta wait like a whole year until you actually get all of the estates assigned. Apparently I am recruiting a regiment. Why? Paris Heavy Cavalry. We will receive 0 ducats and 1,000 manpower. Apparently we start the game off with some units being trained. I know for sure I didn't do this, so that's cool. Apparently we should have taken that mission to build up our troops. I didn't realize that we were getting these men for free. One thing I would like to do, I think, is try to sell some of our initial ships. The likelihood of us being able to contest the superiority, naval superiority of Portugal, Trastamara, / Castile, / Aragon is pretty unlikely, I think. None of these ships provide any trade power, so if Fez wants to buy them from us, I am more than willing to sell them. He has no use for galleys, apparently, because of his location, so let's get him out of that group and then see if he wants to buy our transports. He'll give us 50 ducats for him, but he wants 1 fewer. Alright, sir, you can have 2 whole transports then for full price, please. He would give us well above 50 ducats. I mean, 2 transports, they're not that expensive, are they? Oh, they cost 23 ducats to build. Well, hey, we're getting at least our money's worth, so let's get rid of them. It's gonna cost me 0.4 inflation. I guess that inflation advisor is looking a little bit better now. Alright, meanwhile, this guy has no coast, so he's not gonna want to buy anything. Let's ship these ships inland further and see if we can find someone who wants to buy them from us. Perhaps this guy does. He's already in debt. This guy is Catholic, so it's pretty unlikely. This guy's at war. Hey France, you feel like buying some ships? He's at war. There we go, now we have our state. The state. So here's where we can see all kinds of stuff about our basic state situation. We can see the stability of our country. Stability grows much, much differently in MEIOU and Taxes 2.0. Instead of just being able to bump your stability up whenever you want, you have to actually earn stability points over time. And you have to invest in your country. So you can't just say, well, I'm going to stockpile this money and build buildings, nothing else. You actually have to reinvest your balance to keep your Keep your country developed, pay for the court, pay for your education. We're currently pretty solid looking right now. Let's investigate these a little bit further. So, our court, the grandeur and prestige of a country is oftentimes inseparable from the splendor of its royal court. So we are at a court level of 55.924%. It's going down on an annual basis. The court wealth is at 61.049 ducats. We're not funding it at all. So every single year it's just going to decay over time at a rate of about, they spend 5% of the court wealth to maintain the thing. So what I can do is I can increase annual funding to try to bump that up. So I could say things like increase annual funding, and I could say I want to spend, you know, how much money do we make per month right now? 2.11 ducats a month. Let's give them like a ducat per month. So we'll go click, 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 click. Now that hasn't updated yet. Now it has, if I reload it. So we've lost 1 ducat of balance. It's just deducted straight away from your income. So that's going to hopefully maintain. In fact, if we do the math, we can see that, you know, we're going to lose, we're going to spend about 5 ducats a year. What we should be trying to maintain would be a much higher number. It's going to grow a little bit over time. I don't remember what the actual breakpoints are for this, but we're currently at impressive court level, which is, it's rather expensive to maintain, I think. So for example, I'm actually not going to fund the court that much. Let's go down to like just 6 ducats per year. Now, as far as education goes, we are at 56.324%. Data about our students and universities. I have questions about education. This is really handy. I wonder if there's one like this for the court. No, there's not. Rats. Well, okay. So we're currently at 56.324%. If we got up to 65, we would go to high education level. We're currently between 50 and 65. That's a pretty big range. And it's actually increasing right now. The church is contributing some money based on our piety and other things like that. Let's invest a little bit. I'm going to just say that 86.4, 0.05. Let's make sure we're investing at least like 4 or so ducats a year. They're giving us 1.1. So that means that we're only going to invest like 3 ducats. Just to offset, make sure that we stay about where we're at. Thank you for the briefing. All right, cool. Well, I am going to take a short break here. I'm going to go reload without the hard AI on for, you know, no reason at all, and we will dive in and play as Granada. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I'll see you again in the next video. See you soon.